Alright, this is the commentary for Monster from the Studio meets the Rustic Reviewer. Our first proper crossover review with another music reviewer. Now, I did a crossover with Magic Steve, who's on rtgomer.com with us last year, but that was a little surge review for the drink. And but this is our first true proper music review crossover, and definitely check out the Rustic Reviewer on his YouTube channel, because he's pumping out videos all the time, man. It's a little hard to keep up. But this dude, we came up with this idea. First, he hits us up on like Instagram, and he's commenting heavily on our videos, and became an avid watcher, and gets into the discussion of the music we're talking about. And then we all friended each other on Facebook, and we've kind of become pretty cool friends. Like, I enjoy talking to the dude, and so I hit him up about 2 months ago after watching a bunch of his videos. I said, hey man, let's do a crossover. And he was cool with it. He says he comes up with the idea of doing Genesis Calling All Stations, and I was like, you know what, that works, because he was doing some Genesis reviews at the time. And about 3 years ago, we were doing a series of episodes called the Familiar Bands with Different Singers theme. And in one of those videos, I mentioned that we'll get to Calling All Stations eventually, but I never got around to it. And it's mostly because I really couldn't find enough material or anything funny to say about it. And, well, so I agreed to do this because, you know, it's calling back to that, and with two people writing it, we can bounce off each other and come up with some funny stuff. And I think we did pretty funny. So I basically, the way we did it is I wrote the outline for this intro scene right here, and I let him change some things based off of the way his character talks, and then after that we just kind of passed the script back and forth, slightly changing moments here and there. And so that was that, really. He sent me his he filmed all his stuff, and I got it this past Friday, and had it finished that Saturday night. And the dude's pretty funny on here. Oh yes, the Stilt Skin. I knew of Stilt Skin back in the day, but completely forgot about it until I was doing research for this episode, and I was like, oh my god, it's this guy? And so that's why we have this little joke that, oh yeah, they were kind of cool, but yeah, you and everybody in the 90s forgot about them. But yeah, I mean, they're nothing special. They're nothing to remember. I mean, they don't suck or anything, but they're not that memorable. And Spock's Beard is a band I gotta check out more. I first found them, like, doing the research on my prog reviews way back in the day. And John pretty much reminded me about them, and I was like, oh shit, you know, I remember seeing some of this stuff, but I never looked back. This right here, this is an elaborate joke. The Cardigans, Backstreet Boys, and Meredith Brooks, that's an elaborate joke. I put in here that I think flew over everybody's heads. I don't know, like, I had to explain the joke to Zach, Stas, and Josh when we watched it. But basically, I was originally going to have a bunch of different clips of, like, Third Eye Blind and Matchbox 20, and, you know, just a lot of the softer stuff that was coming out around 97. And when I was getting the videos, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna turn this into an elaborate way to say that Backstreet Boys are bitches. So I took Basically it says, "Dear, I fear Backstreet's a bitch," and I don't know. It's funny to me. It's funny to me, but I don't know if many people caught that. Yeah, here's the initial review portion. All the track bumpers are made with my little Casio in there. And I don't know what it is about Casio keyboards, especially the 90s ones. They can make some great fucking 80s music on there. And that's what a lot of 80s music has always reminded me of as a kid when I first started playing piano and stuff, was the Casio music, man. Because there's a setting on the Casio where you have different rhythms and the drums and musical patterns, and you just push one of the keys down and all the music is in that key, and you can just play your song by hitting one key, in every other measure. And that's what all of that stuff, the 80s stuff, sounds like to me, is that Casio shit. And even on this album, The Calling All Stations, especially that the synth horns fucking reminds me of the Casio, because I swear every bit of it I can make on the Casio in there. And it's really fun to do. I like the shittiness of the Casio, that I can make really good sounding 80s style music on there. Like, I actually love the Casio thing. It's funny. And but we are 7 minutes in. What track? I don't even remember what track this is, man. But yeah, Congo I dig okay. The chorus is really cool, but this album, man, fucking bleeds in so bad. It's so boring, and it was hard to get through this album to fucking do the what do you call it? The fucking reviews, man. Oh, this. Now, alright. This right here was, when I first started the Monster Show, there weren't many running jokes that I knew going into the show that I would do, but this is one of the few that I always knew. If I were to ever do a little comedy review show, if I ran across a song that uses the exact same musical riffs and notes and structure of another song, I would point it out, because that's something me and Zach have done for years. Is when we listen to music all the time, and fucking we would always catch songs that use the same musical notes or structure from other songs, and we'd always point it out. So I always knew, if I ever did a show like this, that would be a running theme whenever I catch one of those. And there has been many, like the one song on the final cut being exactly like Comfortably Numb from The Wall, and even on Rob Zombie's Hellbilly Deluxe 2, that riff that's basically a slowed down version of Freya by The Sword. And when I heard this, and it was fucking the exact fucking thing of Free to Decide by the Cranberries, I was like, wow, man, what the fuck? And because I love that Cranberries album, man. That to me is like the best Cranberries album of the at least out of the first three they did. And Free to Decide is a cool song to me. I dig it. Oh man. But yeah, that little synth in that song, na 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 na. It's the exact same fucking thing, man. Like, what the fuck? And Rustic Reviewer, man, John, he's pretty fucking funny on here. Like, this right here, this actually makes me laugh every time. He's like, oh man, Tony and Mike fucked it up. That's pretty funny. The dude did good on here, man. It was really good. And I kept the monster from the studio intro we made off of here, so because I didn't want it to feel like it was an episode of my show. I wanted it to feel like it was an episode of both of our shows. So I give him a lot. Really, I give him a lot more screen time than me. And then because it starts off, it's like one of his videos, then it morphs into one of our videos with our style track bumpers and all of that, and the way that I do the concert videos and music videos while we talk about the album. So really it's a merging of both of our video styles. And so I kept the Monster intro off of here to kind of represent that. So it's not like, oh, it's Monster from the studio calling all stations with the Rustic Reviewer. No, man, this is like Flintstones meets the Jetsons, man. This is fucking Monster from the studio meets the Rustic Reviewer. And that's what it is, definitely. And it works, man. Like, it shows... If you've seen any of his videos, you definitely see his style in here, the way he films and the way he talks, and then you definitely see our style, the franticness of Monster and the real goofy nature of the Monster character. He's a really goofy guy. Monster is, and so we implement both of our styles on here pretty good, and he's really fucking funny on here. And in fact, sometimes I'm looking at this, I'm like, damn, man, am I phoning it in or am I being funny too? I don't know. But it was easy to make, which was surprising, because I thought it was gonna be hell, man. I thought this was gonna be a hard episode to make, but it turned out fairly stress-free. And the Monster show has definitely become a lot easier to make. And I know last year we hardly did shit because I moved to a new job last year that takes a lot of my fucking time, and I had to find when I could do a Monster review. And so we didn't get a Monster review. The last one we did last year was in March, and it was the Fear Factory episode, and then we didn't do another Monster one until October for the Halloween special. And I felt so bad, man. I hate not doing the Monster show because we all love to fucking act and be goofy, and that's why I did the Christmas one, was to kind of make up for that. And so we have a goal, me and Zach have a goal now to put a new episode out each month, and it's worked out pretty well right now, because we got one in December and we have two that were put out in January. And so I promise we're going to try to get one a month. But man, if you look at this, alright, the Monster set has fucking grown, alright. The job I got last year pays me enough to where I can buy a bunch of CDs every week. And that's what I do. I'll buy 3 or 4 CDs a week. And it's fucking grown, man, because when I first started this show, I had no job. And that's really why I started the show, is because I just had a lot of free fucking time on my hands, because I got laid off at my other job. And then at about 2013, I started working for Meals on Wheels, and wasn't making a lot of money to buy CDs like I wanted to. And then last year, I got this new job, and it's just been growing. Like, Josh gave me these shelves to put the records on, and I'm running out of space on that CD shelf there. So eventually, sometime this year, you're going to see a 4th CD shelf added to that set. And yeah, it's fucking crazy, man. So alright, is this the final? Yeah, this is the final thoughts part. Now, I gave him the final thought. I said, do your final thought, man, because I was like, alright, if we got two people taking a couple minutes to do a final thought piece, it would probably slow down the video. It would bring the action to a grinding halt. And so I came up with this idea for Monster's reaction to the album. So I told him, I said, dude, just write yourself a final thought, man, and just give me a scene of you saying, you know, what are your final thoughts, Monster? And then we're going to cut to an empty chair, and we're going to see Monster trying to scrub the shit off of him. And I kept it secret from everybody over here. And it's like, I didn't tell Zach, Josh, or Stas that scene was coming up. And so we all watched it together the night we put it on the YouTube. And man, they freaked out, man. They were laughing so hard. They were all like, oh my god, man, did you really fucking do that? And I was like, this shit's fucking funny to me, man. But this is, this right here, man, this is John talking about, you know, basically, yeah, they got some shitty albums, but the good albums outweigh the shitty ones. And that to me is the real life way I look at stuff. If there's albums of a band that I don't like, but I like the band, it doesn't make me hate the good shit. You know, we play up our hate a lot. We really do. And, fucking, so he's kind of doing pretty good right here, being all real, talking about, yeah, man, we got all these good Genesis albums, and we just have a couple crappy ones. And, yeah, so that's that. Here it is. Oh my god. Oh my god, this is ridiculous. His reaction though, man. His fucking reaction is funny as hell to me. And here the ending song is a song I made called 80s Shit. And it's just a little 80s style song I made with the Casio that morning. It's a throwaway song that to me was only made just for this episode. And I tried to, like it was written by the both of us, you know, it's starring the both of us. I try to, you know, remember to put shit like that in the credits for everybody who's a part of it. But here's a big question of mine is like, if somebody writes one joke that we use, do we credit them as co-writers in an episode? That's what has always conflicted with me. If you write one joke that we happen to use, out of all the shit, if one dude wrote 99% of the video, and then another dude wrote one fucking joke that we use, should you credit them as a co-writer? I don't know. I've always been conflicted with that. And yeah, the RT Gomer logo and the Bloody Chuckle Studios logo means the video is over. And alright, we'll see you guys next time on the next commentary.